Do you think most women would provide for a man?
I would love for them to, because
Do you
we
think
all
most
talk
women
about
would?
equality, don't we?
Well,
That's literally what it
you're
is.
making the guy's argument. I agree with you. But most women don't want to provide for a man. What?
Yeah.
No.
I would love a house husband.
You are like, I think you're the first girl I've ever met who has said that I've been like,
Really? I'm
100%.
surprised.
When you say she has to wait for him to come home, what do you mean? Why? Why would
As
she
in,
have to
like-
wait before she can go out herself?
Yeah.
No.
Because a lot of men, they would like expect to be home before their wife then goes back out, especially in the Asian household. Yeah.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, in this channel, we like to talk about all things dating, relationships, and seeing what we can do to have the kind of relationship that we want. So without further ado, please welcome Madhu to the show.
Hi guys.
Welcome. Am I pronouncing your name correct?
Yeah. You can just call me Mads if you want as well. It's a lot easier.
I'll call her Mads.
Yeah.
For risk of offending you. Welcome to the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
How you
Thank
doing
you for
today?
having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I like that summer's coming, the temperature is raising. I appreciate it. So I'd like to jump straight in. So first off, tell us your age or your age range and one thing a guy should know about you if you want to take you on a date.
So I'm 28 years old. I'm a full-time content creator. And if a guy wants to take me on a date, I think he should know that I'm very independent.
Okay.
So I'm a really independent woman. I don't like it when guys pay for me. Yeah.
Really?
Or buy me things and stuff like that. Like I
You're
want
like every guy's dream.
Really? No. So I believe that everyone who earns their own money like has a right to their money. I know they work really hard for it. So
Yep.
I don't have a right to take that from them.
Yep.
So I prefer to like buy myself things. Like I'll feel guilty if a guy would basically spend money on me because it's like, I don't deserve that because that's your hard-earned money. Why are you spending it on me when you could be saving it on yourself? So that's how I view
Interesting.
life. It's a little bit different.
I hear that. Is there not any part of you that could see it as, oh, this guy is making an effort because, you know, he just
Yeah, but
wants
there's
to make an
other
effort
ways
to
to make effort. You don't have to use money to make effort. Do you get me? There's
Very
other
true.
ways to show support. Like if I'm doing my job, like as a content creator, they're showing me support through my content itself. They're like coming with
Isn't that
me
a
to
bit
events.
simpish though?
Really?
Like if they're just like, oh my gosh, girl, like you look so great.
Well,
Actually,
not like that.
blah.
Well, little things like even like if I'm shooting or something, if I need an extra hand for a shoot, if they're like assisting me and giving me their time instead of their money. Because we all know time is more valuable as it is.
Time is more valuable. So if you go on a first date with a guy and he's like, yeah, let's like go 50-50, that you wouldn't think anything of that.
No, not at all. I would suggest that myself. Yeah.
Interesting.
I've never really had a guy pay for me like that because I always decline the offer myself.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you have an active problem if a guy does pay for you?
Not really, but sometimes when they pay for you, I feel like then they expect something in return as well.
Sure.
So it's like
Nothing
opening
in
that
this world is
door
for
for
free.
expectation. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I don't want to give them that expectation either. It's like you're just here with me because we're enjoying each other's company. Maybe we're clicking, like we're just getting along as friends kind of thing.
Yeah. So you've never had a guy pay for the first date? Just the first date?
No, never. It's always been 50-50 and usually he has suggested it, but I've just turned around and been like to him, I'd rather if we just go 50-50, don't worry. Like if anything, you can get the next one and then I'll get the one after that if it works out.
Yeah,
So,
I get that. So what would you say, because I think there are plenty of girls out there who would be like, no, a guy should pay for me and stuff because I'm the woman, I've made the effort to show up and all this. What would you say to those women?
Well, I just feel like a woman can't really put herself on a pedestal like that because like at the end of the day, like what have you done for the guy for him to then treat you like that? Like have you given him a child? Have you given him like, do you get me? Respect?
point.
Have you respected his mother enough? His mother really likes you. And then you're just like, oh, my mom really likes her. I want to like treat her well like I treat my mom. So for me, it's like, I feel like you have to earn that. So when a girl says that and she's not really earned it or like done anything to show that she deserves to be treated that way.
Yes.
She's just like claiming it as her personality trait. I just find that a little bit wrong.
Yeah, it's interesting because I would agree that no one's entitled to that, though, and it depends on the kind of relationship you want to have. But I think, personally, if a guy asks a girl out, if he invites her out, I think if he doesn't pay, I think that's shame on him. But if she doesn't offer, then I think that's shame on her.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I think the
agree with that.
offer is kind of I don't deserve this, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Interesting that you kind of feel that way. Have you ever paid for a guy?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Tell us about that story. What did you pay for?
Well, I remember once, like, it was like when I was in first year of uni, like I went on like a date with a guy that just spoke to me online. I think he met me through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And he came up with, I'm a vegetarian,
Okay.
if you should know. So he took me to Leicester Square and he took me to Burger King and he brought out the vouchers, the $1.99 ones, and it was only chicken and beef in there.
Oh,
And he looked at
yes.
me and he was like, you can have the fries. So I looked at him and I just said, don't worry, I'll just pay for both our meals. So I kind of just paid because I can't be starving and you can't bring out a $1.99 voucher on a first date. That's just,
Yeah.
and you know I'm vegetarian beforehand because we've been talking for a week and he knows
Right.
that. So it's like, why are you offering me chicken or fish when I told you I'm not pescatarian,
Really?
I'm vegetarian.
Yeah.
So-
Interesting. Wow. Has a guy ever refused like and be like, no, I have to pay?
Not really, because when I kind of explain to them that their money is their own and I feel guilty for taking it, they kind of see it in a different
They're
way.
like, oh yeah, no, actually, yeah, that's right. It is my money.
Yeah. And they just say, that's really sweet. I understand where you're coming from kind of thing. So they do get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. And then how, like for you, is there any element of, do you feel like you have to then treat them on the next day, or is it still kind of very much
Well,
equal,
if we go
equal?
50-50, the
Well, then,
next
yeah, I
date,
guess, yeah.
usually I'll be like, oh, if you get this one, I'll get the one after this. Then that insinuates a third date as well. So it kind of keeps like the bond going. And then you also
Yeah.
see them more often. It's a lot nicer.
Yeah, 100%. I guess, some people might ask, what happens, if you want kids and then you're pregnant, you take time off work. In that sense, a guy's probably gonna cover for you. Like, obviously, in that sense, you'd be like,
Yeah,
okay
if
with
you're
it.
a mother, of course, because then he fulfills the role of a provider, isn't it? And that's what people are usually taught. When you have a husband,
Sure.
he's like your provider.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a different scenario, I think, from
Yeah.
boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're both very much invested in each other at that
Yeah.
point. Would you ever be the provider in your relationship?
I would love to. I've said this. So I've
Really?
actually said this to my boyfriend. Like, I want him to stay at home and look after the kids and I want to bring home the money.
What?
Yeah.
No.
I would love a house husband.
You are like, I think you're the first girl I've ever met who has said that I've been like,
Really? I'm
100%.
surprised.
Really? So you want a stay-at-home husband?
Yeah, I would love that because then he can clean my house for me. He can cook some nice meals for me. And all I have to do is go to work, bring the money home, maybe buy him some nice little things. Kids are taken care of and I'm just chilling.
I'm actually speechless. And the reason I'm speechless is because I've seen the odd girl online say that they want this, but for you to be like, yeah, like everything you just said, that's like a guy's, I'll say dream.
Not
but it is
really,
like a
because
guy's
some
dream.
guys have that superiority complex where they want to be that
The leader.
working man. Yeah. And they don't want the woman to be the working woman.
But is it that they want to be the working man, or is it that he wants to be in the position of leadership?
Yeah, like to control the girl as well in a way, so he can control like the funds and what's going in and out of the house, like funds and stuff like that.
What's the difference between controlling and just being the leader?
Well, with controlling, I guess it's like sometimes guys will tell you it's okay for a girl to quit her job and be a housewife.
Yeah.
I find that in a way like the girl is getting trapped because because all she's going to do now is she's going to rely on his money. He's going to be giving her pocket money because she has no other form of income coming in. She's giving it up to stay at home now.
Sure.
She has to look after the house. She has to wait for the husband to come home and stuff like that. So she's basically going around his timing instead of her timing. Do you get me?
When you say she has to wait for him to come home, what do you mean? Why? Why would
As
she
in,
have to
like-
wait before she can go out herself?
Yeah.
No.
Because a lot of men, they would like expect to be home before their wife then goes back out, especially in the Asian household. Yeah.
Okay, so I get that. I mean, like, so let's say the husband, let's say he comes home at 6 p.m., right? She has the whole day to do what she wants.
No, but then she'll have to cook for him, have dinner ready for him, stuff like that.
But that's basically what you asked for, no?
What, with the guy?
Yeah, well, you said you'd rather be the provider, right?
Yeah, but I would not want him to have dinner ready. Like, if he wants to cook, he can cook. But I can order takeaway. I'm calm.
So do you think if you have a stay-at-home husband and when you come home he hasn't done anything, you'd be okay with that?
Well, I'd want him to reflect on himself in that case and like look in the mirror and be like, who are you as a person? Like, what are you doing with life? Are you proud of yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And like, if he can answer like, yes, I am, then I'll be like, okay, go ahead, do what you want. But sometimes people have that inkling in their mind where they're like, yeah, I am being a bit of a bum.
Yeah.
So yeah, no one wants to be a bum.
Why do you think, because I completely get you and I'm kind of just playing devil's advocate, why do you see if a woman is a stay-at-home wife, for example, right, where the man's working, she has the luxury of time to do what she wants. Why do you see it as that's her being trapped, but then if you have a stay-at-home husband, that's not him being
Because
trapped?
a man is physically more powerful than a woman as it is.
Sure.
So if a woman is like at home and the guy's telling her, you have to do this, like you have to like make sure you cook for me or make sure the house is clean, this and that, she'll feel very like cornered in a way. Like, do you get me? She feels like she can't overpower him.
Sure.
Whereas if a man is at home, he knows he can still overpower the girl because he's got that strength and that mental stability a bit more.
I get that. And that is true. Guys can have a level of physical dominance. Do you think that in the eyes of society, though, when it comes to laws and governments, especially when it comes to domestic abuse, do you think that if a man and woman made a claim, do you think people are more likely to take her side or his side?
Definitely the girls. They will never believe the guy.
100%.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say, even though physically he may be more dominant in terms of the environment that they're in, society, by law, by society, and by, you know, socially, she actually has more dominance and power in that
Not
sense?
really, because a girl will never speak bad about her husband or her man, especially if she's living with them like that. She wouldn't want to paint a negative image of him out in the world. It's weird. They always want to keep their respect. It will be like last to last resort when she will actually then be like, tell someone else and like get the authorities involved.
Yeah.
She would want to keep his respect as long as she can, and she'll keep pushing till she reaches that little peak or that breaking point.
I think that's fair. I would think if she, the point that she decides she's going to leave the relationship, of course. It does sound that you don't trust a guy who would do that for you where you don't feel trapped.
Yeah. Because I've
fair to say?
I've seen it happen with a lot of my friends and people I personally know and like don't even personally know. I've seen it literally happen to like almost every girl that has been in that kind of situation where she's lived with the partner and then we don't see the girl anymore, like in our friend groups. She's always at home with him. She's waiting on him, hand on heart kind of thing. And when we ask her, like, she says that she wants to do it willingly, but sometimes she's still a bit miserable and bored.
So you don't believe her?
No, not entirely. I know there is a level of truth to it, but not entirely. I know there's a part of her that is just staying there to keep him happy.
Why don't you believe her when she tells you
that she doesn't want to come out and she wants to just stay at home?
Well, yeah, because, you know, like, for example, one thing that happens, so when people are single, right, they tend to go out a lot more. When they get into a relationship, you know, your friends are like, hey, do you want to come out to this nightclub?
But why
or whatever?
Is that?
Because generally people tend to, there's an aspect of going out a lot of the time where a lot of the attraction for going out is the potential of meeting someone new. When you're not in a place where you're open to meeting someone because you have your partner, it's like, okay, would I rather dress up, pay to go to this club, stand in a sweaty club, stickiness, whatever, maybe people hitting me that I'm not interested in. Yeah, I can have fun with my girls, or I can catch up with my girls another time where we go for like lunch together and I can spend the evening with my partner who I actually want to spend time with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's okay like in certain situations, but sometimes there'll be certain girls that will just not go out to see their friends no matter what motive or like event I plan. That girl will always say to me like, I can't go right now. I'm not free on this day. I'm not free on that day. And she'll always flake just to be with her partner because he doesn't want her to be in environments like that. You know, when you have a group of single girl mates and you're the only one in a relationship, your partner does not like it when you go out with your single girl mates.
I completely get that. But then this pertains to what I said, that she may not go out to the nightclub or to the festival or to the party where people are getting drunk and taking drugs. But if you're like, hey, I'm having lunch around mine, why would she would come to that?
No, but sometimes she won't. She'll even be like, oh, but this time doesn't work for me because he comes back from work at this time and I have to make sure I have to cook for him. Things like that. It's
interesting because I get what you're saying. And I'm not saying it's not okay for anyone to control anyone. But I think that if she is deciding to do things that serve her relationship, which is what makes her happy, the same with a guy. Like, I'll be honest, guys do be like, I can't do this because, you know, I said I'm going to be there for her for this. Or I can't do this because I know if I don't come back from work and I'm not coming back till 10 p.m., the missus is going to kick off. Right? So I think both people do that in ways that they try to serve the relationship. So if she says she wasn't happy, she's like, like I'd want to, but he's not going to let me, that's different. But if she's like, hey, like I just can't make it because I'm going to dedicate this time to the time that we have together, especially if he works all the time, that's the only time he's free. It's like, well, if quality time is important to her, then maybe she might prioritize that and catch up with her friends another time.
Yeah, or sometimes things happen as such as we basically plan an event on a certain day and then her partner's suddenly free from work that day. So she'll prioritize her partner over us knowing that we've made plans with her like weeks in advance.
100%.
There's also stuff like that that does make it seem a bit like, who are you giving more importance to right now?
And that is 100% completely valid. But then what I'm trying to say is maybe that's a reflection on how much she's willing to invest in the friendship group, not a reflection of how controlling he is.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying there aren't people who aren't controlling.
Yeah.
But I mean, it happens all the time. You have that single friend who's been single for years, right? And they're out with you, everything, and then they get into a relationship, but you just don't hear from them.
Yeah.
You're just like, I just don't see you anymore since you had this relationship. It's because they're like, this is the thing I've always wanted and I've got my person, and do you know what I mean?
But then at the end of the day, if that relationship doesn't work out, who are you going to fall back on?
It's
Your
very
friends
true.
that were always there. And if you're not there for them when they need you, you'll be left all alone in the world. So you're putting all your eggs in one basket, not knowing if this will 100% work out or not.
I get that. But my question to that then, if her friends are genuinely her friends and her friends understand, okay, her dedicating more time to this building this relationship is what's making her happy, wouldn't a good friend be like, I love you, I support you, I'll still invite you to things, I still want to see you, but you come as and when, and I'm still here for you? Wouldn't a good friend support her in doing what she wants? Because if she decides to move to another country, she's like, well, you're moving to outside of the world, so fuck you, bitch. Like, you missed out on this friendship. You wouldn't do that, would you?
No. But then if the friend said the same thing to her,
Said what?
like, oh, like, I can't make this more of a like, I'll see you when I can kind of thing, even though she's not got a man, but she's just dating random people, then would her friend not feel some type of way as well, who's got the partner, thinking, why has my friend lodged me now?
She might, but I think there's less. I think it's very different if you're parting your friend off for like a first date with a guy that you've been talking to for a week, and then if you're not going to a friend's event because you're dedicating that time to the person who's potentially going to be the rest of your life, right? Who you're in a relationship with.
But then you see them more often than you see your friends anyway. So why can't you still devote a little bit of time to them?
I'm not saying you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think people should. I'm just saying that it's not, it may be to do with the person, not the relationship.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's something you want to bring to the conversation today? You had a couple of things you want to chat about.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about how girls, their personality trait is their man. Have you heard about that?
No, go on.
Basically, when you meet a girl that's in a long-term relationship and she's proper in love,
Yes.
her entire personality trait will be her man. My boyfriend this, my boyfriend that. We did this together, we did that. There will never be any conversation about what she does alone or who she is as a person alone. It will always be her and her partner, like combined by the hip. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Is that the same? I get that 100%.
Yeah.
I think that I completely get that within the first year. 10 years down the line, I don't think it'd be like that.
I've had friends that have 6-year-long relationships and they're still like that. All they talk about is their man.
Really?
Yeah. And sometimes I always feel like as a girl, I'm connecting with another girl. Like I want a girl friendship. I want to know who you are as a person. I don't care about the guy. That's why my boyfriend's at home and we're having girly time right now because it's girl to girl. I want to know what your interests are. What do you like? Not what you and your boyfriend like. What do you like doing when he's not there? Like, who are you as a person without him? But I feel like their personality just intertwines into my man this, my man that. And it just, yeah.
Do you think there's a level of some people, some girls love being in a relationship? Like they love being in a relationship. And so I think when they don't have that, they can't identify with that side of themselves that loves it because they don't have it. And then when they do have it, they're like, oh my gosh, this is what I love. This is like my favorite part of my life. You know, maybe I hate my job. Maybe where I live is kind of trash, but I have an amazing person. I have an amazing relationship. And that's not saying that you should just be your partner. Do you know what I mean?
But is that all there is to life? Just, oh, me being in a relationship, that's the only source of happiness for you right now, me being in a relationship?
No, but what I would say is that connection enriches life. Life without connection is pretty empty, regardless of how successful you are, how much money you have, what accolades you have. If you don't have connection, I don't mean just connection like a romantic partner, I mean friends, family and stuff. But usually the most intense connection is the one you have with your partner.
Because it's a very intensified friendship, I would say.
Well, it's friendship, it's chemistry, it's romance.
But after the honeymoon phase, have you not realized? So usually couples will have that honeymoon phase for like a year and a half max. But then after that, it starts fading out. You start seeing your partner for who they really are. So I feel like it's really important when you first get into a relationship. Don't worry about the honeymoon phase, but understand, who is this guy by himself? Like when he's standing alone and he's got no one, not even me. Do I like this boy? Like, is he cool? Do you get me?
Yes, 100% get that. I wouldn't say that it's you then start seeing them for who they are. I would say that because you have closed the distance of mystery between you both, there isn't a level of if you were infatuated, the infatuation goes. Does that make sense? So, because a lot of the time, the reason we get excited to meeting someone new or dating someone we started dating and everything like that, the reason we get excited is because there's still so much yet to explore with this person and your relationship with this person, your connection with this person. When you get about a year and a half, 2 years in, it's kind of like, you know what the connection is, you know who each other are in this relationship. And so because the mystery has kind of been removed at that point, because you've developed that closeness, you are, yeah, sure, you can see more objectively who they are as a person. And I think part of that is because in the beginning, people always putting the best foot forward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not that they're not being themselves, but they're just not showing everything. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I get that, where some people are, you know, their entire personality is their relationship. How long have you been with your boyfriend?
About 6 years, but my personality is not my relationship. It's who I am as a person and what I do, I promise.
I can very much see that. I feel like you take a lot of pride in your independence that you have.
Because I've fought for it my whole life. Obviously, being in an Asian background, most Asian girls know how it is. Like, our parents do kind of alienate us from the world, and they protect us a lot. Like, sometimes it's overprotection.
Yes.
So obviously, as soon as we hit 18 and start going to uni, our parents just open those gates and let us be free. So now
running wild, baby.
Yeah. So obviously at 18, I found my independence, and now like I'm really appreciating life, and I'm enjoying finding myself and like knowing what I like what it is that I can bring to the world, like loving myself as a person. And like I said, looking in a mirror and looking at myself and being like, I'm proud of who I am. Like, I'm proud of my thoughts. I'm proud of the way I treat other people.
Yeah. No, like, I think that's great. I think that's absolutely beautiful for sure. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's an idea you have because of what you've seen, what like a traditional dynamic works. There's a version of that you've seen that I think you think that's what it means to be that. Like, that's what it means to be a woman who relies on her man. That's what it means to have a woman
I've seen
who's
the
being
Indian
taken care
housewife, as you call it. Yeah.
Sure. And so there are things that may be great about it, but there are things that you've seen just like, I don't like that. Like, I don't like the fact that maybe it's a bit controlling. I don't like the fact that it's this. So now it feels like you've gone to the other end where you're like, okay, well, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to choose to be in that position. And there's nothing wrong with that. I guess what I'm asking is, could you see where there's a different version of that, where it has all the benefits of what that is, but without the level of controllingness, without the level of, you know, strictness, without the level of the woman feeling trapped?
Well, I would love to think that, but all the people that I've spoken to that have been in that situation, I've seen like the negative side of it. So that's why my like thoughts are a bit frayed from there. Okay.
What do you think of like footballers' wives? Because they very much have that.
They're literally trophy wives.
But what I mean is they like, the husband he's playing football, right? Just like an athlete's wife.
Yeah, and they just go into their game, supporting them.
And they're being great wives, just supporting them, but like they're living their lives, right? They don't work. They have all the money that they want.
But then they're only they're looking after the footballers, like obviously their kids, their family, isn't it? That's their main role sometimes, like especially when they have kids.
But do you think those women are trapped?
I think they choose to be trapped.
You think they're trapped?
Well, in a way, but I don't think they subconsciously know it yet. Because like at the end of the day, as a footballer's wife or girlfriend, can you just go out with your girls on a random Sunday without like the paparazzi or someone spotting you and then like spinning some lies about you and then making your footballer boyfriend look bad, and then that will plant back onto you? Okay,
but that's not because of the footballer. That's not because of the man. That's just they're with someone who is famous.
Yeah, but because they're so famous, I feel like they won't really go out and like live their life as much.
You don't think footballers' wives and footballers' girlfriends live their lives?
I don't know.
No, they do. They're out there doing the most. Come on, because they can, right? They may try and stay away from the paparazzi, so to speak, as like I think a lot of famous people do. You know,
They
even
always
footballers.
find them.
They might always find them, but I think even you could say the guys, they're trapped because they can't just because they're the ones who's actually famous, so they can't just go out and you know. I think I heard this interview with Mbappe. He was like, you know, this like the top French player in the world. He was like, someone asked him, "Oh, if you could do anything for a day, what would you do?" He was like, "I would just go to a coffee shop and read a book, and then go to the cinema." And that's it. Because every time he goes out, because of who he is, they have to check security there. He has to have security with him. So many checks have to be done. How is he getting there? What time is he going? What time is he planning to leave? Like, he can't just have a day as a normal person. So ultimately, that can feel trapped. But that's the fame that's trapping them, not.
But then that also comes with a lot of wealth and luxury that a normal person does not have. So it comes at a price, I feel like.
It does. Yeah. Okay, so maybe not a footballer's wife. Let's say somebody who's like an investment banker's wife.
Yeah.
Investment bankers earn hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions per year. They're not famous, right? And the woman doesn't work, right? She won't work. She can kind of do what she wants. Do you think she's trapped in that scenario?
Well, I would try and see like how her social life is. So I want to see how often she's actually meeting her friends, if she can bring her friends over to the house, because sometimes the man will just be like, "I'm tired today, you can't bring anyone over." That's him controlling the environment for her as well then.
I hear that. And I completely get, because for context, like you were born and raised in India and you came here when you were 9.
Yeah.
And it sounds like over there, it is very much that the men run the household. Do you think that's the same in the West? Is that what you've seen?
Well, I think it kind of like scratches on the surface at times. So it's not as extreme maybe as it is back home, but I have noticed that it is slightly like that still over here.
Really?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd argue it's very much the women who control the household here, regardless if she's earning the money or not. Really? Very much so.
Well, I feel like, okay, maybe like other races, but with Asians even living here that have been brought up here,
sure,
it's always the man.
I guess that makes sense, because I guess it's still the same culture, just in a different, it's like a pocket of culture, I guess, to be fair. Interesting. I wonder if you could get to a point where you could feel that you could rely on a man. Not that you would lose your independence, because I think everything you said was great. Like your own self-growth, figuring out who you are, reaching your potential, that's amazing. But having a partner, especially a life partner, is supposed to be someone that you feel that you can rely on. That if you do fall on hard times, or if something happens, that they can take care of you. And especially, and I'm just biased because I've been raised in a Nigerian household, but especially to trust a man to take care of you if you need that. Do you know what I mean? Do you think you could ever trust a guy to take care of you?
I'm just scared that what if he lets me down that one time? Then it's like I could have done it myself. Because if you take care of yourself and you let yourself down, you only have yourself to blame. And then if you have him to blame, then it'll just be that ongoing feud in your head where you're just like blaming him all the time, like, oh, it's your fault, blah, blah. And that can like drive a negative like scenario in your situation as well.
Is there a difference between him letting you down intentionally and he was doing the best he can, but he just didn't meet it that time?
Yeah, but if he was doing the best he can, if I were to do it myself, I would have got it done. That's what I'm thinking.
Depends what it is though. Depends what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's like the time that you're pregnant, for example, you're going to have to rely on the guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the only reason you'd be relying on him is because you would have no choice to.
But then I'm carrying his child, so I do expect half of that is his. So he should be helping me out.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like 100% he should be. I guess what I'm saying is there's going to be an element of, there's going to be a point where you're going to have to be able to let go. You're going to have to be able to let go. And the reason I say this is because, yes, men and women, we're more the same than different, but we are different. And there are going to be, we go through different stages in life. And right now you're in a growth stage and everything like that. But I see it, and you're 28, right?
Yeah.
I see it all the time. Not every single woman, but a lot. They get to their early 30s and they're like, I don't want to be working 10 hours a day anymore. I don't want to be having to like hustle in my job.
But why? But then you expect your man to do that for you? That's not fair. How can you expect someone to do something that you can't do yourself?
I completely agree. But there are plenty of double standards when it comes to attractions of the opposite sex. So like, for example, we hear all the time that women like a guy who's 6 foot and above.
But then they're really short themselves.
But then how many women are actually 6 foot themselves? Right? They want a guy ideally who's stronger than them.
Every guy is stronger if you actually look at it genetically.
I mean, majority of guys are stronger than majority of women, but that's the standard that most women would prefer, that they don't fulfill themselves. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like there are plenty of things when it comes to relationships where we are looking for...
You're looking to fill in the gaps, basically.
You're looking for your complementary. Like, so for example, like a woman might be feminine. She wants a guy who's masculine. I think that's pretty normal, in fact.
Yeah.
That's even in gay relationships. Like, even if you have two people of the same sex, same gender, you tend to have one who sits more in their feminine and one that sits more in their masculine. So they're already looking for different things because it's the polarity that creates the chemistry. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I get that.
What, obviously, as you've been growing in yourself and becoming an influencer, how has it been kind of stepping into influencer world? How's it been maybe with male attention? And then how's it been compared with girls when you've stepped into this?
It's scary because I believe most content creators are very alone in their journey. So I feel like everyone watches us, but we still feel very secluded from the world. We feel like no one really gets us except for each other.
Right.
Like no one has really understood my job unless it's another content creator.
Yes.
People will just judge and like they'll look at the job of what it is from surface level and they'll just judge what you are straight away, and they'll just make these new ideas in their head of what they think your job entails without even confronting or asking you like, is this true? And just assume like a new personality for you, like, oh, we think she's like this because she's done this or something like that.
Because of like how you choose to present yourself.
Yeah. And obviously this job has not been around for that long. So I feel like not a lot of people understand the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, of course. Have you noticed a difference in male attention before starting this?
Well, I feel like when you're doing content and putting yourself out there, you do get more confident because you need to be confident in yourself, obviously, to present yourself.
Very true.
And that confidence does display when you're out. And sometimes guys do like that confident girl. So I've noticed like, yeah, I do get a lot more eyes now than I used to before. But I feel like that is because I'm more confident as a person when I walk into a room. So
how much do you think it is? What percentage of it do you think it's because like you've grown in confidence, and part of it is because, you know, I guess you're kind of more accessible, right? You're in front of more people, right? So if you're in front of more people, you're at more events and stuff. You know, if more eyes are on you, I guess more guys are going to kind of take a liking. So do you think it's a confidence thing, or do you think it's because you're, you know, a young, attractive girl and you're just in front of more people?
Yeah, maybe that is one of the situations that I placed in, because obviously the events that we attend, we're all supposed to network with one another.
Yes.
So everyone is just as friendly as each other. So yeah, you will get people talking to you a lot more often than if you were to go to like a bar on a normal night out. You would not get people talking to you like that. Yeah,
100%. How, and you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to. How does your boyfriend feel about your path? Because you started this during this relationship, right?
He kind of sees me work hard and he sees what I'm doing, and because he understands the job role a bit more than someone who doesn't really know what they do, because I've spoken to him about it, he kind of like appreciates the grind, he says.
Okay.
So he says he loves the fact that I'm pushing for what I want to do, and like he was like, you're basically pursuing your dreams, Mads. Like I really like look up to that.
That's
so
great.
that is like an inspiring thing for him, and he can see I'm not doing anything wrong, but he's just scared. I think he's scared because obviously sometimes I can put myself in a more vulnerable situation where people can say something to me and I might just believe it, and he's just like, I'm just scared someone will take advantage of you. So it's just that side I think he's more frightened about.
So he's scared that someone could manipulate you into doing something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Because we've all heard like the talks about this industry and like the little
well, you tell me. I don't know. I don't know.
We've all heard about like casting couch and this and that, and how you have to sleep with people to like get somewhere and stuff like that. So
I mean,
obviously, yeah.
Sure. I mean, is he scared that you will choose to do that?
No. Because I'm not like that, or like I'm very innocent, I promise you.
Yeah.
But I think he's just scared that people will say things to me and make me do things without me realizing what's happening, because I am a bit gullible. Like I said, my parents...
if you were doing something sexual, you would know.
Oh, yeah, that. But like little things, like even if they're flirting with me and I'm just giving them a compliment back and they're seeing it as like she's interested, I would not see it like that. I'd just be like, they're being nice to me, so I'm a nice person. I want to be nice back to them.
Sure.
But sometimes men might just not see that. They might just think she's flirting because she's thrown me back a compliment without realizing, you made me feel good about myself. I'm going to give you the same reaction. Look, you've been nice to me. I can be nice to you as well.
Yeah, I get that. And guys definitely can do that. Like, and in a way, it's kind of the beauty and the curse of being an attractive woman, that if you are friendly to a guy, you're just being nice, but he might see it as, oh, maybe I have a chance with her. Like maybe there's a little something.
But then if
there.
you're not nice, then people call you like a bitch. And I'd always want to be perceived as a really nice girl. Like I want people to think of me as sweet.
Yeah, of course.
So-
And I'm not saying that it's not your fault. That's just, sometimes guys can interpret that because because I think for a lot of guys' experiences, a lot of attractive girls aren't that nice to them. A lot of attractive girls ignore them. They don't give them the time of day.
But that's not nice, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's a guy or girl, he's still a human being. Like imagine someone treated you like that. You would have been so hurt. You'd be upset. You'd probably be crying into your pillow at night.
I know. And it's true. It's not nice, but that does happen. So then when you get an attractive girl who is nice, she's like, oh my gosh, this one attractive girl who's nice to me, maybe I can talk to her and establish something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's their fault for that interpretation, for someone just being, friendly, Is there something else you wanted to bring to conversation today? One thing I wanted to ask.
Well, with girls, I've noticed in this whole category of work, they can be a bit stuck up and snooty. Not all of them, but some of them. And sometimes, like, I've had events where I've been to where girls have asked for my following, and because I've been lower than them, they've just treated me a type of way, which I would just find really funny, because I've always believed as a content creator, your following does not determine your skill set. Yes. Like you can be the best content creator in the world, creating like cinematic footage and just have one follower, compared to someone that has over 100K and just creates like mediocre footage. Yeah. So for me, it's more about a skill set. So when people approach me and they ask me, the first thing they ask me after, what do you do? I say content creator, like, what's your following? I'll just think that, but that doesn't determine my work or my success rate at all. Yeah,
I think it's, there is a hierarchy, but I guess there is a level of, because I guess the more followers you have, the more bargaining power you have when it comes to brands, but also is, I guess the high level offers, like the offers you'll get now will be different and will be better than the offers you'll get like when you're at 5,000 followers. Does that make sense? And yeah, it's a shame. In every industry there's ego. Do you know what I mean? There's ego, and people are trying to see where they rank. And a lot of the time they're asking not to evaluate you, but to evaluate themselves against you.
Yeah, because they always then mention how much they have on top of when I say it.
Yeah, of course. Have you ever found, just you being friendly, have you ever found girls thinking maybe you're trying it with a guy that they want or that they like in the space? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, like obviously I'm really nice to everyone. So I have had it like before even I started this role. I remember I was like at uni, and one of my friends, she went to a different uni. 1 sec, sorry.
Yeah, go for it. Grab your water if you need it.
No, I'm okay. But she went to a different uni. So she wanted me to meet her boyfriend from the other uni. So I went to meet her at uni, and I saw her boyfriend. Me and her boyfriend clicked really well. And like we were just friends. At uni you're friends with guys and girls. Sure. It's not like that at all. It's like you just literally make friends with anyone and everyone because you're by yourself in that campus. So me and him were just friends. There was nothing like that. I even said to him, like, you can show all my chats to your girlfriend. Like, I have nothing to hide. But she then said to him that she doesn't want him talking to me. And then he messaged me saying, your friend doesn't want me talking to you. I don't know why. She just said that. So there's been times where I just get along with guys. Like I can just be friends with a guy, but the girl would just not like it. I just don't understand why, because I've always shown the guy that I'm not physically attracted. Like he's like a brother to me. So I always bro zone the guy, but still the girl would just feel some type of way because you're having that friendship with them and you're like laughing with them, and maybe it's like different to their friendship with their guy kind of thing.
Yeah. I guess essentially because you're spending emotional time with the guy. And I guess a lot of the time, sometimes the girlfriend can be territorial over that emotional time. And the equivalent is like guys are very territorial over the sexual time. So like guys don't want his woman to be sexually with anyone else but him. Do you know what I mean? And not that girls aren't territorial sexually, but I think more of the territory comes in the time that he's spending with you compared to someone else, because obviously you're very, you've got a 6-year relationship, you've got a great relationship. But if you started spending more time with a female friend more than you'd be like, well, I guess I should ask you, would you have an offer or you'd be all right?
No,
You'd be fine?
Yeah, I trust him. That's the thing. Like, you can have friends that are guys and girls. Like, we're over 20 years old now. Like, who told us we can only have girl mates?
I hear that. Do you think there are certain boundaries we should have for the opposite sex that we wouldn't have for the same sex?
Well, little things like don't share your food with your guy. Like, when I have a girl mate, I will feed her with my spoon. But obviously with a guy, you have to have that distance. So little things like that. And then things you can talk about. So I would not talk to my guy friend about sex.
Sure.
But if he wants to talk about he fancies a girl, I will then give him advice like how he can approach the girl.
Sure.
So keep it very PG, those kind of conversations. But with girls, you're going above and beyond. You're literally telling them every single detail about what's going on.
If you're loving this episode and these kinds of conversations, then I want to give you something. We recently launched the Kits Angels community. This is a sisterhood for women who are tired of what the dating scene has given them and are ready to take their love lives to the next level. It's a space for you as a woman to not be alone in your journey to love, where we learn, talk, and share our experiences as part of a strong sisterhood, with some leadership and guidance from yours truly, of course. Not to mention never before seen videos from me on how I've led dozens of women to meeting great men. And so as a thank you for watching this episode, I'm giving you a month's membership completely complimentary on me. Just click the Kits Angels link below, and when you join the group, message me the code phrase Angels Podcast and I will pay for your membership. Now back to the episode.
I hear that.
Yeah.
So there's a level of acknowledgement that even though you can have male and female friends, there is a difference.
Yeah.
There is a difference just because of that. Has there ever been a time where because you would have been meeting so many different people in this space and all of this stuff, like kind of adjusting into this path, has there ever been a time where your boyfriend had questioned maybe a male friend of yours? Because sometimes it does happen where a guy will, even though you've got a relationship, he may take a liking to you, but you might have friend zoned him, but he still likes you. How have you handled that situation?
Well, I've kind of like, you could tell my boyfriend was a bit iffy, so he just goes quiet when stuff like that happens at the event. Okay. And then we'll talk about it after, and I'll just like explain to him like and reassure him, because sometimes they just need that reassurance. Like, I'm here for you, not for them. Like, that's just me talking to someone, networking with them. We literally, because my job requires me to collaborate with other creators, and he needs to kind of like get grasp with that, like get to terms with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just feel like he just needs the reassurance, and then everything's just been sorted.
Everything's usually fine.
Yeah.
I do have to ask this question because you actually brought it up about before we started shooting. So on your profile, obviously, do you have a picture of your boyfriend or no? Is that intentional?
Well, because my whole profile is basically a work profile, so I only post what the brands want me to. The brands
is every post a brand post?
Yes, every single post is a brand post. If you actually check, there's no personal posts.
No, yeah, I hear that. I hear that. Have you ever could you ever post a brand post with friends at all?
Yeah,
no?
So there have been certain posts on my TikTok that require me to do couples content. So I've not posted his face because obviously he doesn't want his face out there.
Yeah.
But I've posted like me holding his hand and like the back of him and stuff like that. So people do know I'm in a relationship because I do couples content as well for certain collabs.
Yeah.
Spoke too quickly.
No, I hear you. No, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think because you've taken the approach that this is purely professional, because I think a lot of guys would ask questions like, oh, like you're with me, but like it feels like you're hiding me, and you're going to these events and you have all this access and exposure, and people have access to you.
It's because some girls would do that on purpose because they know they gain more opportunity through like not showing their boyfriend than they do if they show a boyfriend off. The opportunity kind of limits itself.
Thing is, 100% that's true. But I feel like sometimes girls, not all girls, some girls pretend that's not the case. Like they pretend that, oh, you're not getting this opportunity because there may be a level of availability that you're portraying. Do most girls know, or is that just, do most girls understand what they're doing? Like, do most girls understand by playing the game? Does that make sense?
Of course they do. They're just not telling you guys, but I'm here to spill the tea.
I knew it.
I'm here to spill it all. I knew it. No.
So I think your situation is different because you said every post is a brand post.
It is.
And
people can actually look at my profile and actually thingy it.
Yeah. And especially because when you've done couple brand posts, you've used your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's gone viral. That's on 300k views right now on my TikTok.
Okay.
So it's actually gone viral.
Well, there you go. Maybe you should post him more.
Maybe I should get promoted or paid to post more couples content.
That's it,
then,
100%.
literally.
Okay, so do you think if a guy's with a girl who's like an influencer and stuff, and let's say that some of her posts are brand posts, some of them are, you know, like friendships, her being out with friends and stuff. So she is an influencer, but she doesn't post strictly professional stuff. Like some stuff is friends as well, right? Would you say then, do you think it's justified for him to have a problem with that? For him to be like, why do you not post me? Like, what, like, do you know what I mean? Especially if we know that it's kind of her playing the game.
Well, up to a certain extent, unless he doesn't want to take pictures when they're out and about. Because, you know, sometimes when a girl will be shooting content, the guy will just be like, not today, not today. But she looks her best that day. So she wants to take pictures with him then. And then sometimes she'll take the shots with her man and he won't like any of the pictures. So she doesn't want to show him looking bad online.
Is that a thing? Do guys really care about that to that extent?
If they have huge following, then yeah.
Oh, if the guy does? Or if
the girl does. And if she's posting a man, a picture of both of them, and he doesn't look the best, or he's like, oh, I don't like that picture of myself, but she likes herself in that photo, then she wouldn't post it because she doesn't want him to not look his best kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a one-off occasion. I get that. But like, if you've got, you know, if you're an influencer, you're posting a bunch all the time, and you've posted with like friends, maybe even a family member here, but you've not one single post of your boyfriend, that's intentional.
But does everyone in her life know that she has a man? Like everyone personally, like her family? Because sometimes they hide it.
They hide her man from the family?
Yeah, because sometimes the
Really?
family will not accept like a boyfriend. They'll want straight away like a fiance, or like you find someone for marriage. So sometimes a girl will hide her relationship till she knows he's ready for marriage. Then she'll introduce him to the family. So that's why she won't post him.
Oh, okay. I think that makes very much sense for like a traditional culture. I guess I mean more like the Western world. That's generally not the case.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there are many parents that are like, don't bring home a boyfriend, bring home a fiance.
And everyone also believes in evil eye. You know, sometimes
What do
when
you
you post
mean?
your relationship online and you're happy,
Yeah.
there will be people that will hate on it. And there will be people that will look at it from like wrong intent. Like, oh, why is she like this? Why is she so happy? And it can't like cause an evil... Sorry.
Yeah, take your water. See, the evil eye was coming for her, guys. It was coming for her then. Wouldn't even let her finish the sentence. Yeah. Nah, go for it. Go for it. Speak your truth, Mad. Speak your truth.
No, but yeah, it's also evil eye. Because I feel like a lot of people are scared that other people are going to give them like bad eye and like evil eye and like just...
The bad energy.
Yeah.
Does that energy come from... Do you think that energy comes from more from girls who don't know you, or from girls who... Even friends, even.
Weirdly enough, like it can be a mixture, but it can also be like it sways more towards people that personally know you, especially people that have seen you when you were not an influencer, and then they see you go on this path and suddenly like they see bare progress, because you know how it happens. Like when you go up, it just keeps happening. Like your progress will come so quickly. In a month, you'll get like 5 different collabs and they're just watching it and they will hate. So like I feel like sometimes it does come like, oh, why is she taking a man to this event? Oh, she doesn't have to pay for this, but I have to pay for this. She's going over here, but I can't go here with my man. Like there's a bit of... And sometimes like when I've gone to influencer events at the same locations that my friends have gone to, like date nights with their partners where they've paid, they've just looked at it a bit wrong. And then when I've like spoken to them about it and I've been like, oh, I went to this place, like I know you guys went before, like is it any good? They've just kind of like shunned it out, like, yeah, I don't really remember how it was, but I guess it was okay. But you know that they wanted to talk about a certain place being good, but they just don't want to tell you because they're not happy that you're going basically for free like that.
Why do you think...
It's because they
It's
want
weird.
this life. I'm telling you, so
Yeah,
many
but
girls
like friends
want
are supposed to love you.
That's what I
though.
mean. Friends are supposed to support you regardless and not judge you for what you do, especially if you're basically not impacting them. Like everything that I do, I've not ever done anything towards them. Do you get me? For them, or impacted their life directly for them to feel some type of way towards me, but they still do.
If you invited them to these events with you, do you think they'd feel the same way? If they were benefiting from your progress?
But I would not, because in the start they've not shown me support and they were very, very, very snaky. So like literally
How are they snaky?
Like spoke about me behind my back, spoke about my body and how it's not perfect, and like because I'm so petite, like laughing about it, stuff like that, saying stuff like, oh, no one's gonna marry me, how can like my boyfriend date a girl like that, she's got no culture, she's got nothing about her, without even understanding or knowing what I do.
Yeah,
it's been extreme. Like
wow,
singled me out. And I remember once, I think I went out with my boyfriend and like his family and some of his friends, and they completely singled me out. We all went to Oxford Street. They didn't even walk with me. They walked away from me. They were having conversations with themselves, just generic ones, normal ones. Every time I input anything into it, they would both just look at me like that, just shun me out. Anything I said, they would not like conversate with me. Like the conversation would just stop at my sentence. They'd say 2 things and it would just be like, that's the end of the convo. They would ignore me. They didn't even sit next to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it, like, I'm generally asking this because I have curiosity. Were they from the same kind of cultural background
Yes.
as you?
And that's why they're judging, because
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
So
our-
I guess kind of since you've been entering new circles, do you feel like you found the support in
yes,
these
100%.
new circles?
Like I've always said, I even said this to my boyfriend the other day, like I thought my true friends were the people that knew me before I started this journey.
Yeah.
But the more you start this journey, the more you realize the people that you meet along the way are the ones that will actually support you and make you grow. I've met like so many girls that are other creators. They understand what I do. They're supportive. They're so sweet. They're proper girls supporting girls. You know, some girls will just say, oh, I support other girls, but they don't. Because when it comes down to it, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like-
I remember seeing these posts on a few like female influencers where they're like, bunch of you watch my stories, but none of you like my posts.
It's true.
Like,
It's true. And they'll be the first. I have over 500 people watching my story. Within 30 seconds of posting, these girls that don't like anything, they'll be the first 3 viewers from 500 every single time.
is it that deep though?
For me, I take it as a compliment, because if you're actually taking that much time out of your day to look at me and like care about me, the second after I'm posting, within a minute of me posting every single story, wow, I must have some importance like in your life. So
Yeah.
I take it as a compliment. It means I'm doing something right.
Yeah. I guess if they're deliberately not liking your stuff, maybe
They're
there's
not,
something
and
to
they're
be
only
said
liking
there.
things of like when I post like other friends or other family members that they personally know, or other friends that they know in my story. They'll like those posts, but never my ones where my face is on it.
That's so interesting. What have you found with male influencers in this space when it comes to you meeting them and collaborating with them and building out those kind of relationships?
Well, they're more social than girls, I would say. Like they're more
Okay.
approachable. With a male influencer, you'll see them like talking to almost everyone. With girl influencers, we kind of like corner ourselves at times in events. We'll be a bit more quiet until someone approaches us, or we can sense someone's vibe is similar to our vibe, and we can be like, I can like gel with this person at this event. But I think with guys, like they just gel anyway. Like they can literally walk up to you and have a conversation, and it's very friendly, like it's very open.
Yes.
So I feel really accepted with male influencers. Like they're very friendly, they're very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you, I feel like we skipped over this. How did you handle a guy influencer who took a liking to you, but you had to kind of put him in the friend zone?
Well, I just kind of tell them I have a boyfriend, and it just dies down from there. Because I feel like
Does it?
a man might not respect you dating someone else, but if you are in a long-term relationship, they can see it. A man will respect another man in a relationship like that, like a true man would. Maybe one whose morals are a bit swayed might think, I still got a chance. But one whose feet are like on the ground and his morals and like his head is straight. If you tell me in a relationship, because he would know if I have a girl, I'd want her to say this as well. I'd want her to be like this. That's how he would be looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you sensed that their admiration of you has kind of passed, or do you still feel that if you spend time with them as friends?
Yeah, like I think there are always going to be moments, because like your opposite sex, obviously you're going to have like that little flirty banter. There will be that tiny level of attraction like with each other, but it's just about how much you maintain that, and like what kind of distance you keep with them when you're talking to them.
Yeah.
And like what you speak about as well. Like you need to maintain your boundaries with a guy.
Yeah.
So if he's talking to you about your sex life, I'll just shut it off saying, oh no, I don't do that. That's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
That's
of course.
literally it.
Of course.
So yeah.
I'll be honest, that people know me. I'm not friends with women that I are attracted to. I would not be friends with women that I'm
I'm
attracted to.
only friends with like people that I know that are like my cup of tea kind of thing. But attraction is not only physical though. It can also be personality.
I agree, but I guess I wouldn't be friends with a girl that I am physically attracted to.
Okay.
Because I guess if you're attracted to someone's personality, but you're not physically attracted to them, that's literally what a friendship is, right? Because you
Yeah.
connect on that level.
Yeah.
But if there's a level of physical attraction, yeah, I just wouldn't. Because it's like, unless you're going to explore that, it's just.
But then you can just say, I have a good looking friend. Oh my gosh, look, I actually have such a good looking friend.
Yeah, but I would say that. But I think there's a difference between being like, oh, I can see objectively that this person's attractive. Like, I can see why other people would like this person. But if I find them attractive, personally for me, I just wouldn't be friends with her. I'll be
Really?
honest. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I
But
wouldn't do it.
you can control yourself in your mind and be like, I can keep this civilized. Like, you
Yeah,
can.
100%. But I think a big part of it is because, well, one, like I'll make new friends in these networking spaces, but one, I'm not out like searching for friends.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, oh, I need a new friend. But also two, if I've got a level of attraction for her, that's one tick. The physical attraction is tick. And then if I am friends with her, that means I like who she is. And that's literally the perfect combination for a relationship. So it's like, I'll be in a position where I could potentially always want more. And that's not a great position for anyone to be in. Like, you probably hate this, but I always say to guys, like, if you find her attractive and you can't pursue it, don't be friends with her. Be civil, but do not be friends with her. I stand by it. Don't be friends with her. Do you think that's a bit harsh? Do you think that's a bit strict?
Yeah, a little bit. Because at the end of the day, like, you do realize even if you're in a long-term relationship, you will find other people attractive. Like, the world has good-looking people out there.
Oh, of course. I mean, like, yeah, like, you know, my
you
girlfriend and
can't
I all the
stop
time, we say, oh, no, I'm
from
not
like
saying...
being friends with someone like...
Well, okay, so when I say friends, there's levels. So when I say friend, I mean someone who I would spend one-on-one time with.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So yeah, there are girls who may be attractive who it's like we're friends by association because we're in the same industry or we're both going to this event or whatever. So I'll say hi and, you know, we'll have a nice chat and stuff, right? So people you can be friendly to. But if you're a friend, that means like, oh, if I'm having like a party or something, like, I'm going to invite you. Or, you know, if like we actually talk one-on-one, that's what I consider like a friendship. Does that make sense? And I just think I just wouldn't like, yeah, I'm in a
Even
relationship.
if you're just talking to them on text, and if you meet them, you can just always meet them in a group. That way you won't.
But why would I talk to her on text?
Because sometimes you need advice from people that is not your partner, and like from other people. Like, I need advice from people at times. That's when I go to like so many different friends to get advice from like everyone.
Yeah, I guess if I was looking for advice, but then I guess a lot of the time, like I have a couple of mentors, so I usually ask them. And it's not that I wouldn't ask, but I mean, but that's different though, because that means I'm messaging them for professional purpose. Because if I'm asking for advice, it's going to be from a professional sense. I'm not going to be asking for personal advice from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do it.
That's so
And I don't think guys should. And maybe it's because I think girls can be friends with guys that they find attractive but not desire anything more.
Yeah.
I don't think guys can do that as much.
Really?
And I think that's why.
Okay, maybe that makes sense.
Do you know what I mean? I'd say the equivalent is like a girl shouldn't be friends with benefits with a guy that she thinks could be great for a relationship, because you're going to be sleeping with this guy and you're always going to want more.
I don't think friends with benefits works, especially if you see them a bit more often, like as a friend as well after that. Yeah. Kind of thing. Or like you have people that are mutual in your friend group when you're, do you get me? I don't think that works.
Yeah. Why? Do you have an experience like that you've seen?
Well, no. Well, obviously my boyfriend was my best friend.
No. So, did you start like friends with benefits or what?
Well, I moved to him, yeah, and I asked him out.
Wait. Give us the lowdown, man. How did this happen?
So he was in a relationship with another girl for 2 years. I was in a relationship with a guy for like a year. He broke up with his girlfriend. 2 weeks after that, my boyfriend dumped me. We were both just going through the rebound phase. Yeah. So we just kind of like went to each other because we were best friends. It was like boy, girl, whatever. And then it just worked out. And now 6 years in. And that was my first ever rebound. So...
And 6-year rebound, goddamn.
Yeah, and then we just realized like this is actually a lot better than I thought it was. And had that rebound not happened, I would have never discovered that this person is like perfect for me, kind of thing.
Right. Were you friends? Were you already friends when you were in a relationship?
Yes, and my ex used to hate him. He basically even said after we broke up, and he found out that we obviously got together after because everyone could see it was at the same uni.
Yeah.
He even said to me, he was like, oh, I should have never trusted that guy. Blah, blah. But the thing is, when we were friends, we were so innocent. We never even like went to each other's rooms like that. We'd just see each other in the kitchen and communal areas at uni, be in like a big friend group, maybe chat to each other, take like pictures with everyone. Like it was such a innocent friendship.
But there was an attraction there.
Yeah, definitely.
There was an attraction there.
But
because if there wasn't, you wouldn't have got together that quick.
Yeah, but it wasn't acted upon.
No, 100%. But like, you guys were like friends, but there was an attraction there.
I just felt a comfort off home with him. Let me just put it that way. Because he was
nice.
like, everything he had in his room and stuff like that reminded me of my house and like back home. So I just felt like when I was with him, I just felt like I'm home, and I never felt like that with anyone, which is how I knew in my heart, like, this is the guy for me. Like, if I can get a home feeling from someone, and I've never had that before, that's just saying something to me, my heart and my like head.
100%.
Yeah.
Completely get that. And that's actually beautiful. I love that. Let me ask you a question. Would you be okay, you know, the friendship that you guys had before you both ended, your respective relationships ended, would you be okay with him having that kind of friendship with another woman now?
Oh yeah, because he had 3 different girls that were same, like fighting to be his best friend, same as me. And one of them was my best friend.
Really?
Yeah, she used to hang out with him like one-on-one. They used to go shopping. That's what I mean. He was such a chill guy. Because he's got 2 sisters.
Right.
He knows how to be with girls. He's the only like boy in the family. Obviously, there's 3 of him. So his 2 elder sisters. So he's so used to being around girls. He could just like gel with all of us. Like, he could literally be the only guy in the girl group, and we wouldn't feel some type of way because he knows how to act with us.
No, I get that, but I'm talking about the attraction part. Because you said like there was, because you guys were
I
friends.
I would not know the attraction would be there even if he would be friends with another girl, because obviously no one would tell me about that.
Of course, but like, would you be okay with that being the case? He would never act on it. Like, you guys never acted on it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But there was a level of attraction.
Yeah,
there.
that's fine, because like I said, there's good looking people out there in the world. I don't really tell my man like, you can't look, but I just tell him, if you look, can I look too?
That's
kind of thing.
I love that 100%.
Yeah.
We said that too. But I'm not talking about, he can never find anyone else attractive, because that's not real, right? I'm like, a girl who's a close friend of his that has that same level of attraction you guys had, just never acted upon, and he's spending more time with her than he is with you.
Is
You're telling
she
me you'd be okay
single?
with that? Yes.
Has she met me before? Have I spent time with her as well? I'd want to actually just get to know her, have that one-to-one time with her at least once.
Yeah, you can say that you've met
So
her.
I have.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'd be fine. Because obviously when I have that one-to-one time, she would understand my personality. She would actually see how I am and she would respect it. And that's usually happened. Unless I would see, like, if I spend that one-to-one time with her and I feel like she's a bit dodgy, and you know when you can just sense a girl's just a bit iffy, if I get any inkling, then yeah, I would tell him. But if I have time alone with her and I see like she's genuinely a nice person, fair enough, like she's attractive, I don't blame you. I'd be like, yeah, that's calm. Like, she's met me. She knows me. Like, she wouldn't do anything like that. So
It's a lot of confidence in that.
really?
No. I don't think it's a bad thing. But I guess, I mean, some people don't care about being in like if someone's in a relationship. I'm not saying that this girl wouldn't, but
what if you trust your partner? I trust
that's
my
what I'm
partner.
saying.
Yeah.
Of course. I think there's an element of trusting your partner, of course. If you didn't trust them, I don't know, why would you choose to be with them? But also it's what do you both do to help have respect for the relationship? So like, for example, like if I sense that a girl is like into me, right? Even if I think we could be friends because I'm not into her, I just wouldn't spend one-on-one time with her out of respect for my own relationship personally. Because it's like, well, I'm not looking for friends, so I don't like need another friend.
Yeah.
And unless there's some gaining from like some kind of professional relationship, I don't see why else I would spend time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Whereas if I was single, then maybe I could spend time with her, even if it was only going to be friends. I could like allow the environment for maybe there to be a little bit of something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm asking is, what's the level between having trust for your relationship, which I completely agree with, but then you both kind of putting boundaries in place with certain people to respect the relationship you have?
Well, I guess the one-to-one time, like you said, like if she is a bit flirty with him,
Sure.
then maybe the one-to-one time has to be in like
with me. I have to be there.
No. We don't want to be crazy psycho.
I was just joking.
I think the one-to-one time has to be like in public spaces.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
I agree.
Like you can't meet her in the house. In my house, like if we're living together, you can't meet her in my house like that when I'm not there. Just you two like in the sofa. Like it's just quiet. It's empty. Like at least be like in a restaurant or something where it's like you're sitting opposite each other. Like,
yeah.
So it would have to be in public spaces.
Public spaces.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. If you could ask men one thing, what's one thing you would ask them?
If I could ask, like, just in general.
Yeah, the species of men.
What would I ask them? oh, why do you guys like paying for girls? Like, honestly, why do you guys
Why do
actually
you like-
yeah, why? What does it actually do? Like,
Sure. I think a part of it is we feel obliged to because of the conditioning and culture we've been raised in. So we've been taught that.
but your job is breaking stereotypes as it is. Why can't you break your cultural stereotypes as well? Like,
I
that?
agree, but I think because the other thing is they want to make a good impression on the girl.
But there's other ways you can.
There is, but you would have heard from girls, like if a guy doesn't pay for her if he asked her out on a date, it can come across a certain way. Like a girl might think a guy doesn't even like her. A girl can think, oh, this guy's like cheap or whatever, or this guy can't, he can't be a guy who
And
can take care of
I've
me.
actually had girls be like that. So I remember once I was holding a bag or something, and then a girl was holding, like, we went shopping and she was holding a Zara bag, and she goes, oh, if my boyfriend was here, he would never let me hold this Zara bag. He would just take it off me. And then I basically said to her, oh, if my boyfriend was here, he would actually put his jacket in my bag. That's why I carry a big bag. And she was like, oh, my boyfriend would never let me do that. Like, shunning me and like my boyfriend and what he would do.
Yeah, I
So
don't think
there
you should shun
have been-
people, let people have
Yeah.
whatever kind of relationship. But the other thing I would say is that I think for a lot of guys and a lot of girls, actually, a lot of women, they want the man to be in the leadership role of the relationship. And so a lot of the time,
Because that's what they've been taught. That's actually what they've been taught.
partly, but it happens a lot where women who are leading in their own lives, they're the leader in their own relationship. Like I said earlier, they get to a point where they don't want to do that anymore. They want someone else to take the pressure off. They want someone else to take the stress off. They don't want someone else to make the decisions. They just want to be a passenger.
But why can't a guy feel like that?
He can, but a lot of the time, like, I'll be honest, finding a girl like you who's willing to take that position for a guy, you are incredibly rare. Most
Really?
women, do you think most women would provide for a man?
I would love for them to, because
Do you
we
think
all
most
talk
women
about
would?
equality, don't we?
Well,
That's
this is,
literally what
you're
it
making the
is.
guy's argument. I agree with you. But most women don't want to provide for a man. They don't.
It's because that's what they've been taught growing up.
Do you think that's what they've been taught, or do you think there's a level of nature involved when it comes to the masculine kind of being the more dominant, the more one in the leadership position?
Well, yeah, like I said, like the male is seen as a provider, but
Sure.
that's only, I think, when you have a family, because when you have a child, yeah, a woman does have to do a lot more, and a child is more towards the mother than the father as it is. So the mom does have to take care. So yeah, then a guy will have to kind of step up. But before then, I don't think a girl has a right to think like that.
I get that, and I can't believe I'm sitting on this side of the argument, so to speak, because I agree with that perspective. But it's not even just about the providing money thing when you're having a family. It's also like, for example, like if a guy and a girl are walking home, we agree that men generally are physically stronger than women, right? So a lot of the time, the man takes the responsibility to make sure that she gets home safe, or that they both get home safe. If he's taking on the responsibility, that means he's going to take leadership on the best way to get home, the safest route to get home. Because he's the one who's responsible for getting you both home safe, right?
Is he?
Yeah. Most guys.
I'm more of the type of text me when you get home kind of person.
No. I mean, if you're out together, like if you're walking home, like from the station together or
Yeah.
something, or if you are out together, generally speaking, the safety of the relationship usually falls to the guy, because generally speaking, guys are bigger and stronger. So it just I think that makes sense.
Oh, yeah,
It's not equality, but that's very much the case, right? So it's not even just the fact of the whole money thing, but there's also the whole thing of the safety, right? So in that environment, even though he may not be financially providing for you, he's providing safety and security. And in that sense, he would take leadership on that.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing I would say is that, and I'm probably get some heat for this, for somebody to be in a position of leadership, they have to be able to, a lot of the times it can require being quite logical, especially when you're doing it for the benefit of others. And not that empathy isn't important. Empathy is very much important, but a lot of the time it requires to be you have to be able to make the hard decisions for what's best for you and your group, right? And we know this, the empathetic levels in women is generally higher than men, generally speaking. Does that mean that women can't be leaders? Of course they can. We've had female leaders in this country, right? And around the world. But it's more the phrase I use is that a lot of the time, a lot of women feel they want the man to be the stable mountain that their emotional waves can crash into.
But that's not fair. You're basically relying on, you're telling him you need to be like this so I can rely on you. Why?
Well, what I would say is that there's no right or wrong. Like, it's not that a man should be this and a woman should be this, but there's pros and cons to everything.
I just feel like if I had a daughter and no sons, and she told me, Mom, I want to rely on a man, I'd be like, no, I've raised you better to be your own strong woman. Like, you'd want your own child. Do you get me?
Yep.
To be so independent. She doesn't have to like look at someone else and be like, I need to think about this person. It's more like she stands on her own 2 feet the way she is.
Is it not a good thing if she goes, I don't have to rely on a man, but I would like to, and I choose to?
Then I would ask her what's wrong with her and why. Seriously. I'm not even lying
So
to
if
you.
your daughter was like, I found this guy, very lovely guy, trustworthy, he wants to take care of me, provide for us and stuff.
Yes, calm, but you don't leave your job and I want you to be secure in your career before you even try get married. So she has her own 2 legs to stand on completely and then she can get married.
So if she wanted to like have kids, like if she's like in her mid-20s or late 20s.
Has she got a job?
She might have a job, but maybe she's not as secure because
No,
for most people.
no.
You would say no?
No, because that's...
Even if she had a man who's willing to
Yeah,
provide for her?
because you're trying to bring the kid up with you just being a housewife and then what are you going to tell your kid? Like, oh, mommy, what did you do when you were like younger? Oh, yeah, I just used to work in a restaurant.
Do you think the most important thing someone will do is have a career?
I think career does define a person the older we get. Think about it. Now, what do we have to talk about? It's not like who we are. It's literally our career. Our career is who we are.
I disagree with you. I don't think a
Really?
career is who we are. And I think actually the older you get, the more connections become more important to you. Connections to family, friends.
Because when I have conversations with strangers, they always ask, what do you do?
But I
what
think
do
that's-
you do? Like,
But I think that's normal as professionals because a lot of the time, like if you meet someone in a professional environment, they're going to ask what you do. If you meet someone in a social environment, yeah, of course, they do ask what you do, but they might ask, oh, like, where did you grow up? What did you study? Right? They might ask, do you have a girlfriend or do you have a boyfriend? Right? So I think that's just part of understanding who people are, because a lot of the time the career choices we choose have a level of reflection of our character type or our temperament. But I think that no, the older you get, no one's on their deathbed being like, damn, I really wish I'd got that promotion. It's always, I wish I spent more time with my family, more time with my kids, more time with my friends. So
well, I come from a different environment because I'm kind of alone. Like, I don't
Sure.
really talk to my family or anything. So all I have in this world is myself.
I get
So
that.
right now, like, all I can do is rely on making myself and this career in such a way that I don't have to think about anything else because I don't have anyone here.
I get that. And I
Yeah.
think, I'm not saying it's a bad, excuse me. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a great thing that you can do that for yourself and you're pursuing your dreams. That's beautiful. But do you think that someone's career is the most important thing that they'll do? Like
No,
if your daughter
well-
finds a great person to
well,
build a
I
life
feel
with,
like if
what
you
does it
have-
matter if she was just a waitress at a restaurant for 4 years before that happened for
I
her?
would not want, because like, I feel like if you have a good career, everything else falls into place.
No, that's wrong.
Really?
Like if you have a good career, that might mean that there's an element of fulfillment you have because you're pursuing what you want to do. If it's your passion, which is great, you may get financial benefits, so a level of financial abundance, which is great. But if you don't have connection, if you don't have a community, like whether that's family and friends, that life will get very hollow very quickly. And actually, this is a big reason why mental health issues are rising in first world countries and not third world countries. Because in first world countries, we prioritize career, we prioritize making money, we prioritize all the professional endeavors, but we don't prioritize community.
Yeah.
We don't prioritize having connections. We don't prioritize, how do we spend our time together? Like, is our quality time this or is our quality time this?
Yeah.
We don't prioritize these things. The happiest people I've met, I was shooting for a film in Tamale, northern Ghana. The happiest people I met were the people of that tribe. And they had next to nothing in comparison to us. Next to nothing. But everything they did had meaning for their tribe and their family and their community. And I think what we're realizing is that because we have prioritized the professional lives the professional aspect of our lives so much. When we have a lack of connection, it doesn't matter how amazing this is. Ultimately, that's not fulfilling for the soul. That's not fulfilling, and connections enrich the human experience. So I think what you're doing, being independent, doing your career and everything, that's amazing. 100% do you, go get your thing, man. Like, build the life that you want. But I would say that to neglect the connection side, or to think that the career part is the most important thing that you'll have.
Well, when connections break all around you, and they have been, when you did prioritize them over career, you will lead more towards a way towards career.
I completely understand.
It's like I used to be the person that did prioritize connections a lot more than anything else, and then they all just started backfiring on me, and it kept happening again and again and again. And you know, they always tell you the universe will always keep teaching you the same lesson until you learn it.
Sure.
That was my way of learning it.
I get that, but maybe, let me pose this. Maybe it's not that you were prioritizing the connections, which was wrong. Maybe it was who you were prioritizing it to. Because you have an amazing partner right now of 6 years, right? Do you know what I mean? And
but
like,
it's just the friends that got a bit wavy along the way. Yeah.
And the thing is, part of life's journey is some people come into our life for a season. And that's part of it. And that doesn't even mean that that doesn't mean that your friendships was bad with these people when it was there. Just maybe it doesn't suit now because you've both grown separately, and you know, now you've seen a different side to them and all of this. You're like, okay, wow, like, you're really not the person for me. But that doesn't mean the connection was wrong.
Yeah.
That might just mean that person was there for a season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that.
I'll take that. Mads, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. I'm going to wrap it there. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
On Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. My @ is x__Mads. And yeah, that's literally, I do fashion, beauty, UGC, and food and experiences.
Come on, we love it. Well, guys, go show her some love, give us some likes, give us some follows, show all that good stuff. We appreciate you sharing your energy with us today. Thank you for coming on, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.